Welcome to the Encore today. Pastor Wes, welcome back after a bit of a hiatus.
Been gone for a minute.
We are at our new table. What do you think about this new format?
I like it a lot.
Yeah, I know.
Mr. Jeff Lincoln built this table from scratch.
Does this remind you?
It's a little velvety.
You ready for this? You ready for this? Does this remind you of, did you ever have the old Sunday school class where they had the velvet board and they would put Moses...
Called a felt board.
Felt board. What did I call it?
Velvet board.
Yeah, excuse me. Does it not remind you of that?
Yeah.
And they always had
here's
the things.
Moses, and they
Yes.
peel it off. Here's David. Here's the rock. Here's Goliath.
Absolutely. That's some old school stuff.
That was like TVs and iPhones with, computer graphics back then. That was like the technology that was high. Here, look how we can teach kids the Bible now. These are cutouts of David and Goliath.
And as a kid, I was jealous that the teacher got to put them up there. I was like, man, I want to play with those things.
They would call for a volunteer.
Hey, didn't get to volunteer, okay?
Come on up, and you get to put one up. And
Never happened.
Really exciting.
I'm glad your church was
It
nice.
reminds me
You're
of
nice,
that, or it reminds me of I'm going to deal cards or something.
Oh, it's a card table. Pool
card
table, too, but this perfect square.
Pool table.
Anyway, yeah.
Enough about the table.
Enough about
Thanks,
the table.
Jeff. It's great.
What do you got going on today?
Why don't you draw? You're a line drawer. I feel
I have
like
no idea where you're going.
Here's what I think about you. I feel like you think you're not, or you act like you're not, but you draw lines for the sake of drawing lines, and then once you draw one, you're holding to the line. Like
What in the world?
You're a bit of you know what you are.
Oh my goodness!
You're a closet point prover. I'm an open point prover. I'm like, no, I'm going to prove a point. You're wrong. You're wrong.
You should have told me that this was an intervention today.
This is an intervention at the card table. You're a low key point prover. First of all, I want to know, do you acknowledge this or not? When your brother was here, before we were talking off set, he backed me up on this. He goes, "Oh, Scott Johnson has rules." Like, it was a similar point.
Yeah, sure. I don't deny it. You just open it up like
So here's where this goes. Why will you not allow yourself? Now, I'm not a big superhero movie guy.
Yeah.
I think the Marvel universe is lame. So there, you heard me. That's what I said. I'm sticking to it. I'm a high key point prover. I just come out.
High key. I like how you admit that though. At least.
I
That's
am.
fine.
I can be straight up obnoxious. It's something I work on. I'm in my 40s. It's starting to.
You got more work to do, but anyway.
I know. I'm trying to grind off the edges. I don't like the Marvel universe, but I can admit when a movie is a good movie or good. Like, for example, the original Captain America, as well as Winter Soldier. This means nothing to you. The original Iron Man. I'm like, oh, this is a stinking good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Thor, no, not good. All this stuff. You have drawn a line that you will not like a superhero movie. Why?
Okay,
Why is it impossible? First of all, it's just a movie.
It's definitely not impossible because, as with anything in life, there are always exceptions. And I've said this, Batman.
The Nolan Batman.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what Nolan means, but
Christopher Nolan. Yes, you do. See,
I don't know which ones he did or didn't do.
He did the three that you know.
The Dark Knight series.
Yes.
Okay. So I wasn't trying to prove a point.
That was close. I thought he's going to act like he doesn't know Nolan.
I know.
I don't have any care about directors.
I know of him. I don't know which ones he directed.
All right, fair enough. It's the three you know. It's the Christian Bale ones. How about that?
Yeah, so The Dark Knight, I think, is the name of the actual one movie. Maybe not. Maybe it's the series.
It's the middle movie.
Yeah, with the Joker and
Correct.
Heath Ledger. That was fabulous.
Okay, you like that one.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, man. I wish I could.
I don't not like it.
There are ways. Somehow there are. This is so inconsistent. I admit my inconsistencies. But there are times where you're able to suspend reality for a movie.
Yeah.
And there are times where I just can't. Here's why I don't like superhero movies. Let's take it to the nth degree. My kids love them, so I've watched many of them.
Same.
Thor, for example. I think it was just the first one. I'm guessing there's multiple Thors. Like the first 30 minutes, I'm into it because I like a person's story.
I agree.
Once they start fighting,
explosions,
I can't
I'm with you there.
deal with it.
I'm
but
with
it's
you.
usually like 40 minutes of
I agree. I hate that.
Excessive stuff. And let me just prove one point here. Thor, or whoever the superhero is trying to save the world while they're destroying millions of humans in New York City. It just doesn't make any sense. It drives me
disagree.
batty.
I don't disagree with anything you said. So I don't like the Marvel universe.
Okay.
On and
Okay.
on. But I feel like if someone comes to you and goes, Scott, this is a good movie. It's about a superhero, though. You're going to be like, nope. Not seeing it. Don't like it.
You're probably right, but I feel like
And it could be like
I know what I'm going to get into. I'm going to like the first 30 minutes and go, oh, this guy could be cool, like his story. Here comes buildings blowing up and
I agree.
tackle moves, and I'm like, I'm so checked out. That's all I got.
I
for
agree
you.
with everything
and
you
it ends
said.
the same. It ends the same.
Okay.
Hallmark movie. Like, yeah, I know where this is going.
All right.
That's it. That's it.
Let's go.
Is that all you got? All right.
That's all I got for now.
Okay, that was a good one. Trying to rile me up today.
Got some
Intervention.
Low.
Hey, so with our new set, our new format, the felt table and all, I wanted to kick off with the Vegas 10-9 trip because there's just been a lot of questions about it. We talked about it before you went, and
a lot of questions.
A lot of questions about it. So
it.
we want to have a place where you can talk about it. You can't do it from the announcements, explain a lot of things. And so let's just go into it. You took a small team eight people to Las Vegas, Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of people do know what 10-9 is. I don't want to get into that too much. You can look at our website.
Romans 10:9 is what it's named after. Look it up. It's
Yeah.
to call lost people to believe in Jesus. That's the point.
And we've also talked about it being more than, it's not necessarily a Rock Church ministry. It's a bigger thing than that.
Yep.
I don't know if we want to go into that today.
I don't think it's necessary,
Yeah.
but if you have questions, let us know.
Hit us up with it.
It's
Let's
its
talk
own 501c3 nonprofit. It's
Yeah.
supported heavily, obviously, by the Rock Church. It used to be, but it's, so it doesn't dominate the Rock Church, so it doesn't
Right.
dominate the budget. It's supported
Yeah. And
outside of that.
you also want to be able to partner with people from all over.
Exactly.
That's a big part of it.
Exactly.
Let's talk about Vegas specifically. I think you did explain why Las Vegas, but maybe talk a little bit more about that. From, if anybody's been around here, we did 2 different Michigan state tours.
Yeah.
And
Shoreline and Uper.
those were awesome and beautiful
Loved
in
them.
their own right. This
Loved them.
was way different though. So
Different, same goal, totally different.
Yeah.
Totally
Yeah.
different deal.
Talk about, we'll get into the depths of it, just kind of a briefing on why Las Vegas. I know you kind of told a story. last time.
I felt like I was there. I was there traveling last year twice. They were both for travel reasons. I was there in June and I was there in October. I won't tell everything and take too much time, but in June, I just felt compelled. I saw the city. I saw the crowds in the 24 hours I was there. And I just felt compelled to share the hope of the gospel in that environment.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was there in October, and knowing that I was thinking that, we were flying out of Las Vegas in October. I felt like I was looking for confirmation. Am I called here? I don't want to just parachute in here.
Right.
Ridiculously. And there was an occurrence on the sidewalk with this lady that was of the Lord. And I thought, man, this is the kind of work I want to do here. This is exactly what I thought you could do. And sure enough, God set something up. And so I thought, let's get a team. Let's come out here and let's jump in, for lack of any better term, hell. Let's jump into the middle of hell and give it a shot and see what happens.
Yeah, and I think I'll kind of answer this for you. Las Vegas is like any other city in this country just because of what it's
unlike, you're saying.
Unlike. Did I say that?
Yeah, you said it's like.
It's unlike.
It is unlike. It is unique to any other city.
Unlike
Correct.
any other city
You are right.
in the country, no doubt. And there's a bunch of unique cities, but this one it's strictly for entertainment and entertainment only. This strip, the area that you're going to for many things. So all of that said, I think that's part of the reason you would pick Las Vegas is because people are there for a much different reason than any other city.
Other than outside of the Strip, which is a vast city that is normal.
Right.
But the main mega part of Las Vegas, nobody's just there doing business. Like New York, right? Everybody, this person's obviously going to work today. This person's on the subway. This person's going to school or goes to college in New York City, whatever that is. Vegas is not like that. Everyone's there to get nuts. That's why they came to Vegas. So it's way different.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about your trip. Let me talk about your expectations going into it.
Good question.
What were your expectations going into this thing?
To I expected it to be challenging.
Mm-hmm.
I expected to have to get through a level of embarrassment. I expected insecurity to rise up. I expected people to listen. I expected the potential of powerful things to happen. And then just there was an element of massive mystery where I had no idea what was going to happen. And I wasn't even sure what we were going to do, honestly. I had a plan, so we had some kind of effort to put forth, hey, we're going to put our hand to this task today. We may never do that again the rest of the week because it might not work. But there was a part of me that's like, I don't even know what we're going to do. We're just going to go out here and go after it.
How did it meet those expectations or not?
It met all those expectations. It was all of those things. The lows were way lower than I thought.
Okay.
The insecurities, the struggles, the humiliation that I thought we would likely face, even thinking I was likely to face it, did not prepare me adequately for the level of struggle I had internally to face it. It was harder than I thought.
Yeah.
I got hit harder than I thought. I'm not the same person anymore, Scott.
And you just come back and give interventions.
I wish Lindsay was here. She's away now with Brennan on a vacation. I think she would say the same thing. I don't want to speak too much for her. I think Lindsay would say this was a punch in the gut in a way that she did not expect at this level.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Maybe this is, showing some vulnerability here. Did you consider, or did you stop? Were there like sessions where you're like, you know what, dude, like that's it for today. We're done here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did think that. Yeah, there were times I'm like, we just need to stop. There were times I think what we did was kind of regroup and just kind of abandoned one thing to focus on another thing that was more fruitful.
Yeah.
But I did have a resolve, like I thought we came out here. We can't quit. Like we can't quit being here, doing stuff.
But be flexible.
Be flexible. And we said that every day. We reminded the team, we're like, remember guys, like we just have to be able to move on the fly. But there were things where I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. But sometimes I kept doing it. Yeah. I would do it anyway, but there were things that would rise up in me to where I'm like, I don't want to do this. I can't endure this anymore.
All right, let's start with the bad news. Let's talk about a negative story, like something that happened that you were like, "Whoa, this is a lot."
There were a lot of crazy.
Them, so and then we'll end with some positive stories. But
there were many.
Let's start there.
Okay. All right. So the opening night, we go down to Fremont Street. If you have no context of Las Vegas, it would be hard for people to imagine. I imagine you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you need maybe look up the context of Fremont Street out there, and the definition of it is old Las Vegas. Everything people see today is not old Las Vegas. Right. It's a new area where Las Vegas was founded, was Fremont. But anyway, that's all. It's Partyville down there, Fremont Street. There's no longer a street that can accommodate cars. It is
it's a
avenue of entertainment. It's a walkway, right? And people go after sin hard down there. So we went down there. So that was our plan. So you can reserve the 6-foot circles down there for blocks of time, 2-hour blocks. So we had one. We had a couple. And we went down on opening night, and we had big expectations. We're going to play the piano, and it's going to sing. People are going to be shocked by this. There are crowds of people walking. They're going to stop, and they're going to be like, what's going on here? I was going to step forward with this Bible for 3 minutes at a time and offer the gospel, and our team was going to interact with anybody that stopped at the close of that segment of time. So we get down there, and I had this all painted in my mind. I've been to Fremont Street. I've shopped this out. So it wasn't like I planned it in a vacuum. I planned it standing on Fremont Street back in October. I'm like, this is how it's going to go. We get down there, and it's pandemonium. I mean, there's overhead speakers that go for like a quarter mile. And they're blaring music right over our spot. So no matter what we do, you're competing with it. And I said to Lindsay, I'm like, this music is hard. She's like, yeah, like this is going to be difficult. There's going to be this competing audio. There's noise and chaos and pot smoke and insanity everywhere. So I'm like, how are we going to grab onto these people? So we just start going after it. Our time we set up, we play the speakers are loud enough.
Mm-hmm.
Lindsay plays and sings a song. Nobody cares. I go to
preach. Is this day one?
This is day one. This is night one. This is the day we land. We landed, sort of got settled, got our stuff, went down to Fremont Street, and went after it the day we arrived. So we'd flown multiple hours. We're tired. We're a little, nervous, so we didn't have time to, get our heads straight. I would have done it the same way, though. There's no other way to do it. You just got to jump off the cliff. So we go down there, and nobody gave a rip. People had a hard time hearing me. People were not interested. People had looks of annoyance, and and Lindsay's having a hard time. You can't, she can't hear herself, so it was this very awkward thing.
Some pictures.
Yeah. Okay, so there she is. Yeah. Okay, so there she is. Now, as you can see, though, there are people standing there listening.
They are.
And so after
is this night one? You think?
I don't know. Okay. Is it, Neil? It looks like that spot. Okay. Yeah, that's night one. So that's literally all right. So I'm gonna get up from the microphone.
Hey.
So you can see me. Here's me. So I don't know if they can hear me.
That's Lindsay. This is Wes. Neil. Is that Luke? Okay.
Everyone else are people that did, in fact, eventually stop. So when we first started, it was like, man, we're going to get lit up. But here's the thing. It did work.
Mm-hmm.
But because of... It's hard to sometimes decipher what's reality and what's happening in your own mind.
Oh, yeah.
And this was what Las Vegas ministry was. What's really happening and what is only happening in my own mind, in my own insecurities.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what happened. People stopped, and we offered the gospel, and our team would very often get people along to the side and ask them questions. And Luke McAllister would be in a conversation for an hour and a half with somebody talking about spiritual things. He had his Bible open right on Fremont Street.
Mm-hmm.
My wife, Neil's wife, other people, Angela McAllister, they're praying for people. People would cry. People would admit things. And yeah. So there I am standing. So I wait for Lindsay to finish.
Mm-hmm.
And Lindsay just keeps sort of playing, and I step into the circle, and I throw down the gospel.
It's a literal circle, by the way.
Yeah, it's a literal circle on the ground. It has a number. You're assigned a number.
Okay.
So there's Lindsay playing. So I would step up, and I'd preach just the gospel.
Yeah.
And I tried to keep it within 3 minutes. So a lot of times it was even less.
Yeah.
There were times, not one person. I literally preached the whole thing, Scott, and no one was there.
So how many hours total is that in one block where you were just going?
It was always
3 minutes.
It was always a minimum of 2 hours.
Okay.
There was the longest we ever did it at one time was 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Lindsay and the team as well would float, right? The team is floating among the crowd. Lindsay and I, we went 4 hours straight one night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard. Back and forth. So I had my Bible. It's gone now, but I had all these tabs. And I had 25 3-minute sermons, so because they're different. Because people, the one cool thing that would happen is people would get caught by only the Spirit of God, because it sure wasn't by us. That was proven over and over. But sometimes God would grab a hold of people, and then they'd stay for the next one. And then they'd stay. They'd be like, what is this? Our team would interact with them.
Okay.
Stay for the next one.
Okay.
Stay for the next one. So they'd stay for 4 or 5 messages. So I always wanted it to be different, but the same gospel. So a lot of times our team would realize no one's really listening to these guys. So there's nothing for us to do. So they would walk off down Fremont Street on their own and interact with homeless people or other street performers or people, tourists, and they had great stories coming back. And Lindsay and I are there just singing and preaching literally to nobody, sometimes for a full hour. Nobody would say, I would preach the full thing, because I would always just think somebody out there.
Somebody's hearing, yeah.
Somebody's listening. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. But I thought somebody over there by that store with their back turned, maybe they're listening. So I'd be like, hey, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm saying, welcome everybody to Las Vegas. I'd act like a greeting, I'm a greeter, I'm an employee of the city or something. I'd be like, welcome to Las Vegas, everybody. Fremont Street here on Friday night. Just wanted to share something with you from the scripture. Well, there's no one there, Scott. Lindsay be openly playing the piano, openly laughing at ourselves.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And I cannot tell you the level. And I'm thinking, man, I brought our team out here. There are people. I'm pastor to these people. Like, my credibility's on the line, and this is what I brought them to. It was unbelievably difficult.
Okay, so night one ends. You guys meet as a team and go, now what? How did you start to adjust from there?
Yeah.
Going into
we were kind of like, wow. Like, wow. It was a punch in the gut. It was hard. And I think we all kind of had, I can't speak for everybody else what their private thoughts were, but we all it kind of felt like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And so we said, well, let's try the Strip.
Yeah.
The main part where everybody sees in movies these days. Ocean's 11 being probably the most famous, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of movies about Las Vegas. They all occur mostly on the Las Vegas Strip.
Yeah.
So the New York, Caesars Palace, MGM, Mirage, Bellagio, those kind of places. So we're like, well, let's try the Strip. Because Fremont's a party. The Strip is people just navigating one place to another. Let's try the Strip. So we're like, well, where? Well, if we're going to do it, let's do it in the most famous spot of all, in front of the fountains of the Bellagio. At the end of Ocean's 11, they're standing there. So there's the Bellagio Hotel. All right. So what happens is, there's me standing there by that tree. You can see Lindsay's piano. Now what happens here is we came up with a new plan. We're like, okay, and so mind you, our other team is walking the Strip, just grabbing a hold of people, and they had a lot of profitable conversation and prayer. So Lindsay and I and Neil's running, making the tech happen. There are no circles. There is no rental space. You just show up and do it and see if the police come.
Oh, okay.
That was the plan.
Okay.
Other people do it. As long as you're within a certain decibel volume, no one seems to bother you.
Okay.
So we're like, okay. The fountains go off like every 15 minutes. There's a little show or a half hour or something. I don't know. And, okay, the people are going to pile up and they're going to wait for the fountain show. Well, they're stuck here waiting because they want to get a good spot on the rail. So while they're waiting, we'll do our thing. Lindsay will play, and then I'll have a 3-minute thing, and everyone will turn around, and we'll have a little church service before the fountains go off. So sure enough, here they come. We just kind of wait. Nothing's happening. She's not playing. I'm just standing there. People are kind of looking, but there's so much. Vegas is such a spectacle. No one even notices you.
Right.
They pile up, and I go, okay, go. Lindsay sings, and again, with my expectation, everyone's going to turn around and go, wow, this girl's voice, this song, it's How Great Thou Art. It's very strange to hear this in Las Vegas. They're going to turn around and go, what's going on? Yeah. Not one person did. Not one. Like, they're right there, Scott. They're right. Like, she's singing in this picture. Look at those people walking.
Yeah.
Not one person. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to step forward with the microphone and just hit them. Not mean. I'm just going to, they're going to hear a guy preaching and go, is he preaching? Oh my gosh. Turn around. Nope. We did it over and over. So then we had we're like, well, let's try something different. We stay right there. We had these Dunkin' Donuts corporate gave us these $5 gift cards to give to people. There's no strings attached. It just says text gospel to this number on it. So we're like, hey, free gift. So we're like, free gift card, $5 to Dunkin' Donuts. It's free. There's no strings attached. No strings. Just a message of hope on the back if you want it. $5. There is no hook. Nobody would take it. No, they're like, no, nah. And Neil got him in the. We were starting to lose our minds. We were just getting beat up so bad where you lose a grip. So Neil had a stack, went out and stood in the sidewalk where people are walking and was physically like assaulting people with these. He's like,
take it.
He was going, literally take it out of my hand. It's a free $5. Literally take. He's like almost touching their hands and they're batting it away. They're like, no. Wouldn't take it. Wouldn't do it.
That's crazy. All right, we got a few minutes left. Round it out with some of your biggest takeaways as a team going, man. This is what made it worth it for you, for the team as a whole, beneficial.
A few things. So all that I was saying was just how hard it was. Amid that, incredible things happened. So one thing that happened was the humility in us. You were just reminded of humility. If there was any shred of pride in us, I'm sure there was. It was gone. It was gone within 24 hours. You realize that you are nothing, you have nothing, you are nothing. The power doesn't come from you. I could mistake that on a Sunday morning. People come, people sit, people listen, they give attention. You could believe, oh, maybe they're here. Maybe you have something to compel people. Maybe Lindsay can sing a song. And the answer is, without the power of God, no. Not one person without God's power. No. And that was very evident. And I got to the place where our whole team, we welcomed that humility. Like, okay, we're nothing. Like, let's just accept that and ask God for help. There were incredibly powerful moments. There were times where people did stop, where they did gather. We did preach the gospel. They came to tears. They asked questions. They confessed that they were raised as a Christian. But they might not be one, and they haven't been reminded of this in years, and they don't know their life is going off the rails. People contacted us through email, through text. You don't know what a sign from God you guys are tonight to me and what I'm facing in my life. Luke and Angela and Trina and Aaron, Brennan, wandering around, Neil as well, when he didn't have to run our technology, wandering around with that thing on their back, free coffee and prayer. They put that backpack on and went down Fremont Street. It was nuts. Look at that. Yeah. I think that's Trina. And people coming and just having long conversations and prayer with, dozens of people like this, just stopping with homeless people, and they just very rationally telling you about their life. And, just interacting with people and giving stuff away in the name of Jesus. It was so powerful. And there were times when a whole circle of people would gather around Lindsay and I got to preach the gospel, and they just stood there, and I'm praying for this kid that's in front of the Bellagio. And it was crazy, man. And it showed me, like, the gospel does work. The gospel does have power. Not everybody is ripe for the harvest. Yeah. And that's okay. You just do it because God called you to do it. And when he decides to work, he works. Yeah. It was amazing. So we have to blur part of this picture because this inappropriate, street performer, but that's our team gathered around those girls who are working for money, and they would accept prayer. They would often be bawling when it was over. It was amazing. That's awesome. I would do it again. I would do it right now. Yeah. When we left, I was sad to go.
Well, that's cool. So I know you probably don't have all these answers or maybe any for this, but a lot of people are going to kind of ask if they know your heart with 10-9 and with gospel outreach. Yeah. What's next? What's stirring in you, and what's next with all this?
I have a lot of ideas. I want to do some of this type of stuff local, meaning like the city of Detroit, maybe the city of Flint, maybe something like Saginaw, where there's crowds of people, desperate people, difficult circumstances. We've done it in Detroit a little bit during the pandemic, but but I want to do more of that type of thing here, so more people can be a part of it. We have ideas that we're trying to get into the Michigan prison system and do more like a shoreline tour type of idea. I want to go to, I don't know if people know what this is, but a place that is compelling to me is Skid Row, Los Angeles. You know this place? Yeah. So very desperate place, very, a lot of homelessness, a lot of drugs, a lot of prostitution, a lot of difficulty. I want to go to Skid Row and do it again. I wouldn't be mad to go to South Beach, Miami, down on the beach during the party scene and try to do something down there. There's no shortage of ideas.
Yeah, I get it. That's good. That's good.
I don't have a next. It just depends on which of those doors open. I would imagine something local would open sooner than later.
Right. Oh, awesome stuff. So I know we could probably talk about this forever, but there'll be more to come. You can continue to ask, more so I wasn't there, questions and things like that, but also the website, romans109.com. You can kind of check out more information. And then as things come up, we'll address that too. But so here we are in a new set. We'll continue with different types of encores going forward, but as always, don't take our word for it, be in his, and we will see you next time on the Encore.